say your name and your outlet, please, as you pass the mic around.
Daniel Sperry, Kansas City Star. Temwa, congrats on another 2 goals. Can you just kind of walk me through your 2 goals there and what you saw as those plays unfolded?
When Kuba is in that position, I just trust Kuba. So no matter what, I just need to make a run. It was like I know that she'll put the ball there.
The second goal, especially that pass from Michelle, was kind of crazy. Did you expect her to make that pass?
Yeah, of course, 100% again.
Oh, yeah. It's their bread and butter.
For you, second straight shutout for this back line. Just how do you feel like the group is kind of gelling right now and kind of hitting your stride after probably a start that not many expected, considering the defensive prowess you guys had last year?
Yeah, I think this whole game was from the front back. I think we put a lot of really great pressure from the forwards, and they came back into the game and won a lot of second balls, and we just kind of cleaned it up. So I think we're getting really nitty-gritty and taking a lot of pride in not letting goals get in the back of the net, and I think Lorena's stepped up big too.
Also, another home win for y'all. Just throughout the early season struggle, just how much?
Block goes back there.
Course.
Oh, yeah.
He says he doesn't miss it. He always does. PJ Green, KC Star, by the way. Throughout the early season struggle, just how much did y'all both know just that you can always come home and just know that y'all can, lean back on the crowd in a home environment?
Yeah, I think the environment here is like no other. Coming here, it's almost like we know we're going to have another man on the field with the fans here, and I always think we come out really fast and strong, and we want to take that into our away games as we go, but people coming into here, it's like coming into a ring with us, and that's kind of how we want it to be.
And Temwa, another great match from Croy. Also, just how do you feel that connection building with her also?
I feel so both always work in the training, so no matter what, when you're in the training in the field there, work hard as forward defenders, so communicate well. So that's why we pay off in the game today, because we communicate well in the training.
Gerald with Sports TV Plus. Izzy and Temwa, how good does it feel to put up those 2 dominant performances and show the kind of form you did last year? I'm sure you knew it was coming, but what was the biggest switch that hit to get those 2 games and string together, just 2 dominating games at home?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. I don't think there's one thing that kind of turned it over, but we were waiting for a lot of things to just start clicking. It takes time when there's changes, but we all knew it was going to happen. We all had a lot of trust within this organization, within our team, within the group, and we knew it was going to come, and it's showing now a lot of the hard work we were putting in behind the scenes, and I think we're only going to go up from here.
Tom Persley, Shea Butter FC. Tim, we kind of saw Houston's goalkeeper struggle a little bit. When you see a goalkeeper make an error like that, and obviously you pounced on that 2 minutes later, does that let you know that there's kind of like blood in the water, that it's the time is right?
Yeah, because I cannot just make run any time, because I wait first to check the goalkeeper which way she's going and which way Cooper should put the ball, because that's why I just make a run. I know we train a lot together in the training. We should put that kind of balls always in the training. So no matter when I trust Cooper, I just make my run to score goals.
You have our front 3 running at you. It's going to scare you. It scares me.
For you, Izzy, there were a couple of times where you were matched up against Avery Patterson. I know that for the national team, that's kind of been a spot that's gone back and forth between the 2 of you. What was that like to compete against someone knowing that you're both competing for the same spot for a different squad?
Yeah, I think these games are really exciting. Avery is a phenomenal player, and I think she provides a lot of value to the game, and I think it was fun just to compete with her on the field. I had Temwa back there with me, helping me out too, and making it a little bit easier for myself, but I always love those games. I think it's fun to play against the best, and she's definitely one of them.
Congratulations, ladies. Sorry, Jillian Carroll, Casey Current Radio. Can you talk a little bit about both of you from an offensive perspective and the backline perspective, how it can be a little frustrating to go against the low block and a team that wants to sit back, and how you broke it down today?
Yeah. Sometimes it can't be fun, you know. We like to get in behind and we like to have those transition moments, but I think we showed a lot of patience today on the ball, and I think that's just going to help us in the future against teams who do that. We faced it a lot last year, and having that patience, finding new ways to build and new ways to score, it happened a lot today, and I think it's only going to help us going in the future. So as much as it can be frustrating, I think we showed patience to be able to make it work.
One last question. I know that you all debuted the new Storm kits. What was it like to step out onto the field knowing that this match was in prime time, on prime, in new fits?
Well, I love this kit. Might be my favorite. And we had our whole line this week that the storm was coming, and even though there was lightning in the background today, it didn't actually make it here. But I do think on the field we kind of had that mentality. So I think wearing those and knowing that was going to be how we wanted to come out on the field, it was really great.
Awesome. Cool. Ladies, thank you so much. Congrats on the win. We'll have Coach Armas here shortly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we welcome back head coach Chris Armas. Again, if you're on the Zoom, please use the raise your hand function and we'll get to you. But we're going to start with Coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, we on the inside of the locker room, the players are hungry, and they've been that all year long, and now we're getting some results, and it's getting going, and we can all feel like there's real momentum, and now it's really important to try to build on that. As we said, just consistency and now build on our basics. I think the noteworthy thing is the room over here, our fans showed up once again, and in this business of sport and pro sports, when the fans get behind players this way, something special it happens every single time. So the players feed off of them, and I think they feed off the players, and it makes for such a great environment as I'm understanding that. And listen, it's a good win for our team. We have a lot of work to do, but another shutout and another win is just good for the group.
Your name and outlet. Thank you. Go ahead.
Daniel Sperry, Kansas City Star. You guys jumped on them pretty early, and then it just felt like the just kept coming in waves there with the attack and with the press and winning the ball. How, going back to like some of those stretches earlier in the year when things were tough and results weren't going your way, to see it where the team is at now and putting in those kind of performances, what goes through your mind, and how much did you believe that group was in there all along?
Yeah, listen, teams just go through cycles of development. They do, and one phase of that is when things get tough, and then sometimes it settles down, and then you get really hot and you can perform, and then maybe there's injuries or trades, and then the storm again, and then it kind of keeps going like this. The key is that you stay steady, and we all stayed very steady through the tough moments. The tough moments where we were always asked a lot of questions, but you couldn't. You just tried never to make excuses, but it was tough, guys. Like Coop and Temwa and Lola Bonsa. You had so many players that were this team coming into the year. There was players from last year not here, and now you're trying to get it going down players from this year. So you just keep trying to do the right things and stay very steady on who we are and build. And at that moment, the young players are getting minutes, and we just try to stay steady. And now, reaping the rewards. So we're heating up, and this is our team. So now we're just going to try to build on it and stay consistent.
I know Timwa gets the 2 goals today, but I think for me the standout performance was Michelle, just with her work off the ball and on the ball. It seemed like every cross she put in was dangerous. Just what have you seen from her kind of catch fire, especially over the last couple of weeks?
Listen, part of the reason we wanted to push her minutes to just even psychologically try to get a 90 in. Her work defensively is noteworthy. All of our attackers, but her specifically, if you talk about her performance, really, you see she makes a run forward at the end of the game and then sprinting all the way back, and this is uncommon, I think, for a lot of attackers in the world of our sport. But the assist she had on Temwa's last one, the curler across the face, I think is a world-class assist. And she's looking more and more comfortable and ability to repeat sprints and be a real nuisance for defenders. And that's when she's running behind back lines and going 1v1. So really happy for her that she gets the few assists and creates the other goal we started the game with.
PJ Green, KC Star. Congrats on the win, Coach. Just on the Michelle front, I know coming into the season she was coming off injuries from last year. And did it feel like she had to work her way into being kind of up to form where she is now?
Yeah, she like most athletes, when you have a longer-term injury like that, it does typically take time, especially when a big part of your game relies on 1v1 attacking, ability to repeat sprint, and sustain those physical actions throughout a game. And that doesn't come like a light switch. You have to do more of that. There's no shortcut to that. And then confidence comes, and now you're taking people on and going at people, and again, able to repeat that. So it all comes together, but that's expected when you're coming off a bit of a long-term injury and when you rely on those attributes.
And another shutout for this back line. Lainey also performing very well still. Just what are you seeing from her, just stepping up where she is, and just how do you see her just continuing that, especially as you get into the meat of the season?
Yeah, listen, I think Lainey's done great. She had a great preseason, and we would say that some of her qualities and her recovery speed, her 1v1 defending, she's prideful, she's a good character, plays with a lot of passion. I think you have that defending core. I think when she stepped into this team in preseason, when she's looking at those fullbacks, back line that's got a lot of experience, and she's asking lots of questions and learning and putting her head down. But if you talk about Ellie Bravo Young, you talk about Izzy Rodriguez, that's a nice core there, and they push each other. And Ellie can play on the left and on the right, and so can Laney. So we've been rotating all of preseason. So I think iron sharpens iron in that one. But we have a really robust fullback in Laney, and it's nice that she's gotten these reps and taken advantage of it.
Gerald Bentley with Sports TV Plus. Hey, Coach, Temwa obviously tremendous the last 2 games, 5 goals in 2 games. But how much does her impact make it easier for the other members of the offense because of the attention she draws? Just elevates everyone on that side.
It does. It's like in any sport, professional basketball. You can see if players are double teaming, and it does draw attention. And if you have other weapons, then it actually is a good thing, right? So that that's how it matters, that you have other people who can hurt you. And if you talk about Temba, listen, one of the things I told her after the game, of course we love that she can score goals, but the work she does defensively, a big part of our match plan had a role that she had to play with Avery Patterson, one of the best fullbacks in the league. So her and Izzy Rodriguez on our left-hand side, for a large stretches, I think Avery still found her way out of a bunch of spots with passes and dribble, but Temwa did a great job on that side with Avery, and it's noteworthy, honestly, because again, attackers like that, to ask them to do the defensive work too, that's admirable. So, but yeah, anytime, listen, you talk about Ali Sentner, who makes a lot of things happen. Croy Bethune, I thought, put on a show tonight. I thought she was pulling strings, and in those pockets, she's I think she's getting sharper and sharper. So we don't want to be a team that relies on one player, and we're not. And I think actually, I've said this to the media early, is because we had some injuries early on, we had to rep a lot of other players and talk about how we're going to manufacture goals without some star players in there. And we're saying with anyone we can score goals. That's been the mindset. Did that come straight away in the year? No, we were creating chances, and now when you get your players back, it all can come together. So, yeah, I understand the question, but now we also have some of those other ones that are also taking advantage of those double teams.
Tom Persley, Shea Butter FC. Coach, congratulations on the win. You mentioned Croy Bethune and her popping up everywhere on the pitch and pulling a lot of strings. I noticed a lot that she was pulling out wide on both sides and then hitting those diagonal crosses either to Temwa or to Michelle on the opposite side. What was it that you saw in the film in Houston that let you know that was going to be available?
Well, we have an attacking structure that has different rotations and different looks. We don't want to be a team that does the same thing every time. You can see we build in a 3-back. Laney's in here, Izzy Rodriguez gives us width on the left, and I'm not saying anything that our opposition wouldn't know. However, if you did that every time, then it's kind of easy to mark, I think. So having little overloads in those wide areas, sometimes it's double width created by kicking out Croy. Imagine Cooper and Croy, how do they deal with that a little bit? So trying to create overloads is something we try to do, and just give the opposition some different looks. Again, so we're not a one-trick pony, and we did it with Bailey Feist a few times, and Lola Bonta can do this, and we just, within our attacking structure, we have little nuances that we try to rep based on what we think opposition is going to do.
And then based off of the players that came into the match later, it seemed like each one of them was able to get up to game speed almost immediately. You saw Haley Hopkins lead the charge on Temwa's second goal. Amelia White almost led a breakaway. Gabby Robinson was able to stone someone. Is it that process that lets them know that they're going to be able to step in and know that they'll be up to game speed right away?
Yeah, listen, we our training sessions are intense. We give a lot of credit to the non-starters on any given day. They're pushing each other so hard. And we have a very hungry team right now. Players trying to keep their spots, others trying to knocking on the door, others that are supporters on the day. So I know we have a hungry group. We felt the game was slipping a little bit with energy, so the first 2 subs, Katie Scott and Haley Hopkins, are energetic players, and we thought, let's spark it up a little bit. Sometimes, it works, sometimes it doesn't. I thought they brought energy right away. And then, Amelia White and Penelope, they're hungry to score, and they want to get in the score sheet, and they don't want to let their teammates down. You can see they're playing with pride, and we sent them in saying, hey, let's get the next goal. However, let's get the shutout. So we're yelling at them to get back into the game, and I know they're suffering, but we expect that, and their teammates expect that. And it was also nice to see Gabby Robinson get some minutes there at the end. I thought she looked really sharp. So I think we got what we needed out of those reserves, and it's important that we keep giving them some even young players those reps, which we did tonight.
PJ, and then we'll wrap it up in the back of the room.
PJ Green, KC Star. I know earlier in the season when y'all were going through the ups and downs, I know it's the players coming in, you're still kind of having to understand things. Do you feel like the team has a better grasp now of kind of what the coaching staff wants, or has that understanding always been there, and then now it's just kind of floundering?
Well, look, in preseason we came in, and I'm proposing a way that we're going to play, and lots of ideas are building upon last year. Me and Vlatko, we probably why I even got in the door. One of the reasons we see things in very similarly. The way we attack, the way we defend and counter press, there's lots of shared ideas. So the learning curve, there's a little bit different vocabulary, but a lot of the same principles, let's say. However, there's players not there. Claire Hutton and Haley Mace, and I can go through the list. So by the end of it, guys, like if we're just being honest, it's 6 or 7. I'm like a little. If you take out any 6, 7, 8 starters from a team, as much as you talk about a counter press and rest defense and building the attack and box defending, you're just light. And then you go on the road and play against good teams, Seattle, Portland, like hungry teams. It gets tricky. The margins are just thinner. And that's what was the reality. So 4 months later, 3 months later, are the ideas sharper? Yes, I think they are. But we also have more of our team together, and the cohesion is there. So we weathered that. We stuck together, and we've been building since day one with very consistent messaging from the start. And you've all been there in these pressers that I've said that. So the key was, there's uncertainty, new coach, new players, and what's going on here? This team's used to winning, but it's with 2 less players in the team last year. They lost 2 of the last 3 games of the season. It was hard. It gets harder. And we were up for that challenge, and we are, and we're well on our way. But we have a lot of work to do. We've got to keep steady.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Back of the room.
Evan Pagano within Kansas City. Just like you were just saying, and you mentioned earlier, you're experiencing some positive momentum, and you said you wanted to keep that going. What do you have ahead of you as a coach to continue on this 3-game run?
Well, listen, probably in my very first press conference, I talked about attacking, that everything we're going to do is to attack and score goals, and you can see that that's what we're doing. We understand that this is not about us necessarily. It's about that our fans, they come here to see attacking football. Plain and simple. If they said otherwise, we would be surprised. They want to see a team go after games, attack to score goals, and defend to attack. That's what we do. So we have a clear set of principles and ideals, what we do around here. So right now it's about getting sharper. There's so many things we can do better, I promise you. And that's up to the coaches and myself to push keep the standards high and push. Because from Corey Bethune, I'm on it every day to be better. To say, hey, you want to be make a player that can make great players or be a great player. I want to be a great player. Well, yeah, okay, then let's talk about this, that. So this is the standard we're trying to push, because we think all of them. We're here to help them be the best version. They all can keep pushing it, every single one. And the other part is mentality. There's tactics, and there's just this champion mindset to just every single time out, how good can we be, individually and collectively? And that's not always easy. That's you against you a lot of times, and that we gotta keep it competitive and keep driving this thing. How good can we be? Because we have a good group. Nothing to start over. It's just back to work. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Did they hit you with glitter?